God help us all.
Will look up and shout, "Save us." And I'll whisper, "No."
This is my review for Watchmen, released in 2009. Watchmen is a long, complex and brilliantly written graphic novel. It switches from the main narrative and at times goes into different areas that provide backstory. This includes a tell-all autobiography from a former member of the Minutemen, a group of vigilantes formed in the 1940s. It also has a separate comic book called Curse of the Black Freighter, a comic read by a minor character in the Watchmen graphic novel itself. Often called unfilmable, Watchmen is one hell of a book. So I was eager to see how it transferred onto the big screen. Well, to start off, one of the common complaints that movies get that are based on previously released material is that they are not close enough to that original material. Zack Snyder, the director of Watchmen, has followed the graphic novel very, very closely. You can easily tell complete recreations of the panels from the original book. So, in that aspect, he's very loyal. I'm also not going to turn around and say it follows it too closely, as I felt this worked in terms of recreating the visuals very much so. However, what I will say is this: though the visuals are followed to a T, I felt some of the film's messages were lost. I didn't feel they got the complexity of the characters across quite in the same way the book did. Now I realise that it is way harder to do in film, but just from a basic point of view, I was left wanting more from the point of some issues raised in the book, which I felt were lacking here. I think the biggest credit I can say to this film is this: as I said, I do feel some of the translation of the characters' struggles were lost on screen. I'm not going back on that, but at the same time, I feel in terms of what they decided to include, it worked. I was never sat there thinking, oh, they missed that bit, or they missed that bit in the graphic novel. I may have thought maybe the characters weren't as well displayed in the film, but in terms of the scene that originally came from, or the scene they included, it was really good and made it work as a piece of movie entertainment. And entertaining it was. I never found myself looking at my watch. It moved very fast for a 3-hour film. My favourite part of the film, hands down, was the sequence about the origin of Dr. Manhattan. I found him to be the most compelling character, or more to the point, the love triangle with him, Dan, and Laurie. From the moment of Manhattan's origin up until he teleports to Mars is a brilliant string of scenes. The interview scene was one of my favourite from the book, and they transferred it brilliantly. Also, the intro montage was very solid, a nice way of getting a lot of information through in a quick amount of time. Some of the music chosen I felt was a bit off, really, especially the song played during Dan and Laurie's sex scene, which I felt the scene itself was badly put together and went on a little too long. Some of the fight scenes I felt were too over the top, and though they worked on the page, I think within the structure of the film and given today's modern action movies, it just felt like they were bowed down to the crazy action sequences of recent action movies. The ending, yes, has changed from the book, but I felt it worked smoothly. On the acting on the whole was very solid, especially from Billy Crudup, Jeffrey D. Morgan and Jackie Earle Haley. I felt at times also the film was playing for laughs, and not a genuine laughs as they appeared in the book, but for ironic laughs. All in all, Watchmen is a very solid film and a very good attempt at recreating the book. I do feel it lacked some of the complexity of the book, even just from simple issues raised in the book, such as why they dress up as superheroes. Some of the music cues and music choices were a bit odd, and the fight scenes were distracting in my opinion. However, that being said, Zack had a lot to juggle, and like I said before, he chose stuff that moved the story along very well, and it never felt like 3 hours long. A very entertaining film that pushes the superhero movie genre further, just not as far as I was expecting given the source material.